Okay, so we are going to be doing baseline form checks, and basically it's going to involve movements like the squat, plank, push-up, things to build a foundation on what we're going to do workout-wise. And you are going to be taking pictures of your form and then turning them in as an assignment. So I would recommend that you follow along with the video to get a feel for the movements and make sure you're doing them properly. It's like practice before you have to turn in then your assignment with your form on it. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to start here with the forearm plank. So we're going to do hips, knees, and ankles all lined up. We're going to tuck our pelvis forward, going to squeeze your glutes, quads, and abs. The elbows are going to be directly underneath the shoulders. Just do a double check. Also going to be facing the palms toward each other instead of clasping your hands, because when you clasp your hands, it does bring a whole bunch of tension in your shoulders and your traps, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to work your abs. So also just notice my head is neutral and I'm looking straight down on the floor. So I'm not letting my head hang down or looking up or anything like that. Remember that position and see if you can do it right now as you're watching the video. Okay, next one we have is a straight arm plank. So you're going to do same thing as far as the hips, knees, and ankles are concerned. You want them all lined up, tucking the pelvis forward. Also, the hands are right underneath the shoulders, and the head is neutral. So also abs on, glutes on, quads on. And a good way to not let your head hang down is to just tuck your chin. Make a slight double chin, and that will make sure your spine's lined up. Okay, next we got push-ups. So remember what Coach Lacey said about that arm angle there. You want it 45 degrees. Your elbows should be lower than your shoulders. And then abs on, glutes on, quads on, keeping your plank throughout the push-up. Sometimes it's easier to inhale on the way down and exhale up. If you are doing the knee push-up, be sure that you are still keeping your plank there. And also your 45-degree angle. You can even stop at the bottom and look and make sure you're correct. All right, next we have skydivers. So you're just gonna lay flat on the floor. You're gonna lift your torso and your feet off the ground there. And then you'll keep your thumb side up the entire way. So the thumbs are up as long as possible until I get right back down to my hips, and then I will relax. If anything, we're catching our breath at the bottom. And as we come up, as we rise, be sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Eyes are looking straight down. It's kind of a tendency to pop your head up and look straight in front of you, or use your head for momentum. Try not to do that. Next, we have the hip bridge. So hips, knees, and ankles all lined up. Again, I'm going to go here palms up, and what that's going to do is make me retract my shoulder blades. That way I'm not working my hunched shoulders, trying to work my posture as well. So we're pushing from the heels there and squeezing. If you can, when you're doing your rep, be sure that you're squeezing for 2 seconds at the top. See if you can also brace your belly button to your spine as you're pressing through your heels. A tendency with this one is, if you can't get full hip extension, to push through your toes. So just be really wary that you are not doing that. If anything, wiggle your toes when you're at full extension. All right. Next, we got the straight arm squat. So here, make sure that on your descent, you're reaching your hips back. That's the very first thing that's happening. And your thighs are getting parallel to the ground. Also trying to keep the chest up and not lean over. We have the arm straight here, so you're not using momentum to swing yourself up here. And then just be sure on the descent that you're pushing your knees outward. You just don't want them to cave in. So you can even take a glance down at your knees while you're doing your squat, or better yet, you'll be videotaping yourself to make sure that you're being safe. All right. And then on deck here, we have airplanes. So airplanes, these are important because they are part of your dynamic warm-up that you're going to be doing. So you're going to be bouncing on one leg, and the working leg is that grounded leg there. So you should get a stretch in your hamstring each time that you go down. So you're trying to squeeze your shoulder blades also. You're making a T at the bottom, and you're trying to get as parallel as you can with your chest there. See if you can also squeeze your glute each time you come up. That glute activation is important. This is a slower and more controlled move because you are on one leg, so just take your time with it. Try not to use momentum, or try not to also go below that parallel position. All right, on deck here we have the alternating forward lunge. So we're gonna go hands on hips, and you'll stride forward, pushing off your front heel each time. So be sure with your torso that you are vertical, straight up and down. The tendency is to lean really far forward, so try not to do that. That definitely won't get a passing video. So pushing off of the front heel there. Should feel this in your glutes and your quads. I'm just going to show you the forward version. So notice I'm staying about hip width with my strides, if you like that. So if you go straight out in front, you're on a tightrope and it's not a very stable position. So I just wanted you guys to see that. And then now we're on to the last but not least, the lateral lunge, alternating lateral lunge. So I'm gonna take a stride, and I'm gonna make sure my hip, knee, ankles all in a line there. Be sure you're looking down at that when that happens. You have to really stick your butt back in order for that to happen. So be sure that you're looking down and making sure that your hip, knee, and ankle is all in a line. You should also be getting an adductor stretch in the straight leg as you sink down. Here I have my hip and knee not in alignment, so that's no good. And be sure that your video doesn't look like that. Okay, one last thing, just want to recap. So there are 9 total exercises. The first 5 you'll take 1 picture of, and then the last 4 leg exercises you will take 2 pictures of, preferably one from the front and then one from the side angle, just so we can see both ways your form. So that includes the squat again, the airplane, the forward lunge, and the lateral lunge.